Now, one of the things that I'm so excited to see, not only in the administration, but also in the culture, in the business culture specifically, is that bosses of all kinds in the corporate world are fed up with activists in their office. Now, the biggest part about this is just a couple years ago, the offices themselves were saying, we have to stand up against, whatever it is that they're standing up against. But there is a growing trend of big corporations that, generally speaking, have been hyper woke in the past, firing employees that are protesting on the job. Microsoft this week dismissed 2 additional people because they were participating in an on-site during work hours protest about, I don't know, the Microsoft work with Israeli military. It doesn't really matter. You're protesting at work. This comes on the heels of them firing 2 people earlier this week for occupying the executive's office. I guess doing like a sit-in at the executive. You can't do that. On top of that, the Wall Street Journal goes on and lists Alphabet, the parent company of Google, fired dozens of people for protests at work in their office. Tesla ousted employees after they created an anti-Elon Musk website, which, again, if you want to keep your job, my response to that is you shouldn't probably create a website damning the boss that controls your paycheck. But again, what do I know? Among many other instances. Now, the bottom line here is the Wall Street Journal, of all places, too, was kind of trying to couch this in, well, they're quelling free speech and freedom of expression. Yeah, at work. Nobody's saying that you can't do this, but if you do it on the clock at your job where the goal is to expand the amount of revenue as much as possible, you're going to face some repercussions. That just seems obvious to me. I can't believe it's not obvious to more people. Here to comment on that and so much more is political conservative commentator Lily Kate and Chris Hand, host of the Chris Hand Show. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Chris, I want to start with you here. If I created a www.charliekirkisawful website, I feel like he would be well within his rights, and I would agree with him firing me. That seems like a good, of course you would do that. Why is it that, one, people think that they can get away with that sort of thing at the company they work with, and two, I guess, is it a good sign of the times that is turning around and people are actually getting canned for it?
I mean, first, I think it's a great sign of the times that we're seeing the pendulum swing back to our side. That's fantastic. But I would say to all of these liberals who are so upset, you wanted me to be fired because I didn't want to take a vaccine. So that's pretty weird. I'd also say to all the employers out there, it's really easy to just not hire these people in general. If you got pronouns on an application, that's a hard pass. If you got blue hair, purple hair, like animals in the wild, those bright colors are a massive warning, and I would stay away. And I would suggest just avoiding the problem altogether, because once they're in there, it is hard to fire them. And in a lot of these big companies, you got a lot of leftists. And while this may start with a couple employees being fired, there's going to be other employees that are going to stay silent and they're going to work against the company, whether it's Elon Musk in Tesla or Microsoft. You got to root out the bad actors one way or another.
Chris, I'm just taking notes here. So beware of interviewees that come in with septum rings and blue hair and are possibly overweight. Probably. Good to know. 100%. I'll keep that advice going in the future. Lily, I feel like this is an economic sign too, right? Because back a couple years ago, when all of the employees kind of had the power, they were kind of lording that over the employers. The employers, kind of in a way had no choice but to let them do whatever they want. Like Chris said, the pendulum has swung back, but economically in this stance too, where, hey, you got to fight for your job nowadays, which, I think is a good sign of a healthy economy. And I don't know, it feels like that the employers are going, we're not going to put up with any of these shenanigans anymore. And I can't say that I hate it.
I think we're turning into a serious country again, and it kind of feels awesome. Obviously, business owners want to maximize the amount of profit they have and the amount of money that they're bringing in. And so cutting dead weight is a really easy way to do that. Typically, when you see the signs, the septum piercings, the blue hair, the overweightness, and all of those combined, it's a really good way to say, you know what, let's try cutting the dead weight. But in corporate America, it is very, very difficult to get rid of employees when you don't have an actual cause to do so. So when they protest like they did at Microsoft, it's just a perfect opportunity to say, I guess it's just not going to work out. And hey, don't consider this a door closing, but many, many more opening.
Learn to code.
Yeah,